Hello everyone, thanks for giving me the opportunity to share with you what it's like working in a London hospital at the moment. Well, the short answer is it's tough, but we're getting ready for it to be more than that as we anticipate the peak of cases requiring hospitalisation over the next week or two rising considerably. Many staff are off sick or self-isolating at the moment, but at least they'll soon be through it and ready to return. Our intensive care capacity is being increased with various initiatives like redeployment of staff with previous ITU experience. And those of us in outpatient areas like mine are keeping in contact with our patients by phone, trying to keep them out of hospital for their own safety, but also to release as many staff as possible to focus on the volume of COVID-19 patients. And we're having to make some tough decisions about what is safe to leave and delay. And this is obviously producing a lot of anxiety with the patients, but we try to mitigate that by keeping in contact with them. The NHS staff are struggling in a few areas in putting themselves first. This is not something we're good at. For example, being really disciplined about putting on PPE equipment before rushing to assist patients on the basis that that's not only for their own safety, but also we need all the staff to stay well for as long as possible. Secondly, some are fearful for themselves and for potentially putting their families at risk if they go home. However, over the last week, I've really seen a shift with astonishing examples of camaraderie, random acts of kindness, and a sense of that we've all been trained for this, rising to the challenge of working differently. Our hospital leadership has supported us with excellent and regular communication, and this really helps support the mood. Exodus chapter 17 came to mind this week. As long as Aaron and Hur can help Moses keep his arms in the air, Joshua continues to win the battle. So how can you pray for the NHS? Well, please be our Aarons and Hurs and help us keep our arms in the air. The charming Thursday night national applause was a moving example of this, as are the tannoy thank yous that greet us when we get off the trains when we come home. Although it makes me cry every time, these gestures help support us to be more like the people God made us to be and help us to remember that both He and you are there beside and behind us. Secondly, can you please pray for our flexibility, for God's grace and strength to assist us when we work outside even the edges of our comfort zone, for His wisdom and knowledge as we face professionally unfamiliar circumstances and surroundings, working in clinical areas outside our normal practices. Finally, for logistics and leadership, that our leaders both in government and the NHS stay well and focused, and that God keeps them and supports them in this supernatural quest. For PPE supplies and viral testing opportunities to be in the right place, right numbers and right time as soon as possible, and for all the sick patients for their speedy recovery. And for this wretched virus, that it comes under control, that a vaccine is found, that a treatment emerges, and that it just goes away. But mostly I want to thank God that He is indeed good all the time, and He works for the good in every situation, and that we are already seeing some wonderful outcomes emerging from this challenging pandemic. God, please take your glory. Amen.